Welcome to today's show. You know what time it is. It is time to get our learn on, and our topic for today is a special one, special occasions, because it is that time of year. It's the holiday season and you have office parties going on and family parties and all kinds of celebrations, maybe even weddings, lots of special things going on at home, at work, at school. And so we are going to spend some time today learning about how to give a great toast. But it can also be other types of things. It doesn't have to only be a toast, but certainly a toast, or maybe even you want to say a special word at the holiday table with your family or with your friends. So let's get right into our content for today. Now, you guys know I am a professor, so I love teaching. So the first thing I want us to learn about is the 6 different types of special occasion speeches. It's more than just toasts, believe it or not. So let's go through these. A brief introduction to these 6 types. The first one is called a speech of introduction. And this one is often called the speech before the speech, because it's the person delivering an introduction for the keynote speaker. Or even we can use the analogy at a concert when there's an artist that's the opening act for the main act. So a person comes on, and you've probably been in lots of occasions in your own life where you've heard an introduction, or maybe people have introduced you. So speech of introduction is our first type. The second type is a speech of presentation. And this is where somebody is going to win an award, and the person who's speaking shares the history, the background, the significance of the award. We might see this a lot, say, in the military or more formal circles, especially where there's a lot of history associated with that award. Or maybe even in high school or college, you won an award for an organization, for sports, for leadership or civic engagement. And a person explained the significance of that award before giving it. And so that is a speech of presentation, type number 2. Number 3 is what you do after the speech of presentation, and that is accept your award. And we all know it very often starts with, I want to thank my mom and dad. I want to thank my fans. A speech of acceptance where you are expressing your gratitude for having received that award. Now, the fourth type is the one we all think about when we think about a special occasion. And these are speeches of celebration. And it can be anything. Top of mind very often are things like weddings, but it can also be special birthdays. It can be retirements. It can be graduations. It can be anything, right? We love to celebrate people, and at least I know I love to celebrate people. So any kind of celebration that you have going on, I know right now my college students in a couple of weeks will be celebrating the end of the semester, and we'll all be celebrating the end of the new year and the beginning of another year. So lots of speeches of celebration coming up. And this is where I think many of you will probably be looking to say a little something special today, and that's our content for this show today, focusing on that. Now, our 5th type is an after dinner speech. This one is a little bit less known. And what an after dinner speech is, picture this. You're at a fundraiser and someone is brought on, typically during the meal. Doesn't have to be dinner, could be lunch, but someone is speaking during the main course, and they need to be entertaining, they need to be charismatic, and they have the difficult job of raising money for this event. So they've got to be persuasive enough to convince people to make a donation and open up their wallets. So Mark Twain, the famous writer, was historically known to be a sought after dinner speaker because he embodied all of those things, right? He was able to be humorous, to be likable, but also to persuade people to make a donation. So this is the 5th type, and the last type is a eulogy. And in this type of speech, we are commemorating the life of a person who has passed on. These are the 6 types, so that you know, right now you've got your education, those 6 types of special occasion speeches. Now let's talk about fear and confidence. So many people think that in order to be confident, you have to have no fear, or you have to be fearless. And it's simply not true. What I have found to be true is that confidence comes as a result of taking action, moving forward, taking steps, even when you feel that fear. So it's, I'm a little bit afraid, I'm nervous, I'm scared. I take the action, I do it anyway. I don't let it stop me. I accept that it's a natural part of being a human being. And therefore, I build confidence because I didn't let that fear stop me. So I hope that this makes sense to you. I know that it's very encouraging for me. Even right before going live today, I feel that nervousness, but I can't let that stop me because there's a message that I want to share and put out to you, right? For the world to listen and hear. But if I let that fear silence me, then that message never gets heard. And there's most definitely people out there who want to hear from you, who want to hear your thoughts and celebrate things with you. And so please accept that fear is just a part of being human. It just comes with the territory when you're about to speak in front of other people. But that doesn't have to stop you from delivering your amazing message. So remember, confidence comes from taking action, giving that toast, doing that celebration, speaking up at the office, answering that question in class. Fear is a result of taking those actions, those steps, even though we feel afraid. I just bumped into a student on campus a couple of days ago, and we started getting into this conversation about fear. And, I said to her, you feel fear. So what? We all feel fear. That's just a part of it, right? We just know, for me, I know that I feel it greatly in my belly and in my chest. And I just know that's just going to happen. But I ride the wave, keep it moving. So that's a word about fear and confidence that I hope encourages you if you are feeling nervous or scared, because you might be at those celebrations at home, at work, at school, and you feel that nudge, like you want to say something, but then you don't. And I just don't want you to miss out on those opportunities because other people are also missing out on the chance to hear your voice, to hear your message in a way that only you can give. So don't let fear stop you. Know that moving forward will help you build confidence. Now let's get to the meat and potatoes of this event, right? Let's talk about some really great tips for delivering a toast. My first tip for you is to think about the structure of a talk. And this might not be very familiar to those of you who have not taken a public speaking course with me or elsewhere, but speeches do have a structure. And to keep it very simple, I want you to think about speeches having a beginning, a middle, and an end. We also call it an introduction, a body, and a conclusion. But just think beginning, middle, end. And I put an exclamation mark in the beginning of beginning on the screen here because you have to start strong. And then an exclamation mark at the end of end because you also have to close with impact. So in that beginning, the first thing that you say, it has to be a strong attention getter. It has to get people's attention. And at the end, the very last thing you say also is quite memorable, and you should close with something that is impactful. Now, let me give you some examples of actual openings that my own college students have made, and I wrote some of these down here. This one begins like this. I've had a rough time lately. It's not been a particularly stellar end to my year. And then he goes through a little bit of the story and then brings us on the up, how and why things got better. The second one. For as long as I can remember, my ethnicity has been a big part of my identity. And she went on to share a story that connected. Another strong attention getter. To get my point across, I need you to understand one thing. And then she goes on to say. Another one begins in the middle of a story. Attention all passengers, your flight number 83 has landed, but due to a small strike, arrival times will be delayed. And it goes into the story. Another one that's a bit more lighthearted is, who here has seen Shrek 2? Right, so you can sometimes start with something that's playful, lighthearted, and fun. But I want you to keep in mind that it's really important to think about a strong attention getter. Right, so this part is significant, starting really, really strong. I'll give you another example in my own family. When my mom and my stepfather got married, my brothers and I, we gave impromptu speeches. This was not pre-planned, but I did launch off saying a comment about my mom's husband now officially being our stepfather. And that led to some light comments. And then I said, one thing that I remember the most is, and I went on to share what that is. Now, we had said many times, welcome to the family. That one of my brothers, he changed that up. And he said, instead of saying it to our stepfather, he said it to our mother. And he said, Mom, welcome to the family. So it made everybody laugh. There's lots of ways that we can use different types of openings. But the one thing is that you don't want to start off with weak language or with hesitation, right? I know sometimes you do and it's natural, but you want to make sure that you have something strong and powerful to begin with. The first thing that comes out of your mouth should be something strong and powerful. So think about what is it that you want to say at the very, very start of your toast. Here's a couple of things to keep in mind. Don't start off with saying something like something that is polite and very common along the lines of, I'm really glad to be here today. Start off with something much stronger. You can say that later. But start off with a powerful opening line to launch into your toast. So remember, beginning, middle, and end. Now we talked about the beginning and the end, but let's talk about what goes into the middle. In the middle, I do suggest some type of a strong narrative. It can be a story, it can be an anecdote, something shorter, and to use vivid language. Vivid language is language that incorporates our senses, that helps us see, feel, taste the things that you're talking about in the story. So using vivid language is very helpful. Also using things that are rhetorical devices like an analogy. That's often very helpful, right? Things to throw in. So you want to be thinking about your figurative language, rhetorical devices, and making sure that it includes some type of vivid language as well. The third thing, and you guys, if you've been in an audience at a wedding, you agree, it is really great to keep toasts short and sweet or short and funny if you're funny, right? If you don't feel comfortable delivering comedy, you don't have to, right? You can be authentic and sincere and heartfelt, and you don't have to be funny. But some of you guys are funny and you love that. And that adds a great element to toasts as well. But please don't go on and on and on. I used to do weddings, photography, and video for many years, and the speeches that dragged on, people lost attention on very quickly. So better to be short and sweet or short and funny and get to your message in a short amount of time so that people can continue enjoying that celebration. Another great tip along the same lines is focusing on your audience connection. The toast shouldn't be all about you. It really should be celebrating the person, the event, the organization, the team, the couple that you're lifting up in that celebration, but also include the audience, talk directly to the audience. I'll give you a fantastic example. At one of the weddings where I was doing video for a few years ago, the maid of honor had a bandage on her hand that she didn't have before the toast. And when she got up there, she made a joke because the groom has an unbelievably strong handshake, and everybody who knows him would know that about him. So she made a comment about how, you guys know Marshall's handshake, right? And then she went out to the audience and said, anybody else had this experience? And she had planted some people in the audience with bandaged hands as well, and it made everybody laugh, and it was hysterical. Something like that takes a bit more pre-planning, but is, to this day, it is one of the speeches, and I have listened to so many, that sticks out the most in my mind because she took that extra step. So you might want to think about something along those lines as well to make your toast even more memorable. And another tip, which is the one people don't want to listen to, but is so valuable, and that is to rehearse your speech. Right? Sit and write it, rehearse it out loud, say in front of other people if you have the opportunity to practice. There are even places where you can practice your speeches online. So rehearsing, it doesn't just mean thinking it in your mind. That does not count as rehearsing, unfortunately. You need to be able to say it out loud. And I say, put yourself in front of your cell phone and record yourself and watch yourself back. It also gives you a sense of timing. And we are not able to get into it too much today, but your verbal and nonverbal communication is so important. Pay attention to that when you're rehearsing so that come the day of, you are delivering a powerful and strong message that resonates with your audience. So let's review. In summary, we talked today about the 6 types of special occasion speeches, and I hope you learned something from those teachings. Secondly, we talked about fear and confidence and the relationship that they have and that they are not mutually exclusive. Rather, confidence is the result of doing things even when you have that fear factor going on in your mind. And then I gave you some quick tips for delivering a great toast. So what's my invitation for you this week? My invitation to you is party, celebrate, enjoy, but don't let fear silence you from speaking a message that you want to share, whether it's at an office party at work, whether it's with your friends as you celebrate the coming holidays, with your loved ones, your family members, or maybe you even want to say a prayer, right? If your family practices that in your faith, or you do have a big formal event coming up, such as a wedding where you do need to make a special toast, or a retirement, or another big party. Whatever it is, think beginning, middle, end. A story with some vivid language. All the tips that I gave, go through those. Make sure that you rehearse and you practice. But most importantly, don't forget to bring your energy, your personality, yourself. Sometimes when we deliver speeches, we can become a different version of ourselves than who we actually are because of the nerves, or because we even wrote a script and we're just reading off of a script and nobody enjoys the reading, right? We want to hear from you. We want you to be your genuine, authentic self as you deliver the content. So bring your personality with you, bring that energy with you, and enjoy this beautiful and magical time of year. I started decorating today, so I'm in that spirit, getting in that zone myself. And this is the channel where we talk about interpersonal communication, public speaking, and leadership concepts to help you develop confident and caring communication skills that you can use in every area of your life, at home, at school, or at work. So please join me next week. We go live. I go live Wednesdays at 12 noon. Sometimes it's me. Sometimes I bring on guests, different professionals, or even my students to talk about these very same concepts. So Wednesdays at 12 noon. And if you like what you see visually, I want you to know that I do use a program called eCam that allows me to produce this show. And I love it. It is fantastic. And I'll provide an affiliate link if anybody is interested in checking out eCam. But thank you for your support. Thank you for watching. If you caught this on the replay, appreciate your comments, your thoughts. And do give the show a thumbs up and subscribe if you find the content valuable. And also share it with someone. Even if you see something you like here and it makes you think of somebody else, go ahead and share the link with them so that this message gets in the hands of people who want to develop their communication skills. And in this case in particular, learn how to give a better toast. Want to wish you all an amazing season, and I'll see you next week.